Okay, so today I am playing the medic this time around. Double barrel with the firebug, I think. Like I said, I'm probably not going to be playing the... Not the fire... I'm not going to be using the firebug weapons as much. And so... This time around, I do want to try out the medic, since it's one of the only perks I haven't played yet. Not in terms of recording at all either, because I haven't really played it that much as the medic, because I recently just reached max proficiency with the ninja. So, but today's video isn't really much about like covering or talking about like some things about what's coming up with Killing Floor. Obviously, like I said, like some videos are already like pre-recorded and pre-uploaded ahead of time, which allows me to really like be more open when like something comes up, right? So like if Tripwire releases an update about the season 2, then I could easily make a video specifically for that video and be more thoughtful on what is to be said about it, right? Well, these specific videos are more just like playing and talking at the same time. No real thought into what I'm just thinking out loud primarily, so it's not like the end of the world for me if, you know, if I upload another video, because usually whenever I do upload an extra video for the week, it's primarily either something that I wanted to cover, but they just, you know, it's like news about KF that that Tripwire posts something new, right? And so, but all in all, I mean, in general, I think I'm hoping that if they do release new weapons, because I realized that they released like a little backstory to the story building for the prison map, which I'm assuming they're dubbing this season Prison Break or something along those lines. Which, I mean, I don't mind that being a thing, but you know, it could be a bit better. We will see. Obviously, they still have a few weeks before they release, I don't want to say they release it, but they still have a few weeks in time to really discuss and talk about the upcoming season, right? They are just setting up for map-wise, they're setting up the lore. Yeah, I mean, I'm using the newer weapons more often than not, because, I mean, obviously there's some versatility. I cannot see where that Strix's head is. There was a few things that I did think about, where I do think that some perks, I hope that some perks get some like updates or some kind of I don't know, some kind of update to them or something, but who knows. It's under Nighthaven's watch, and you know, there's power in there, there's some activity that's happening, and so on and so forth, so there isn't really much to really go off of besides the fact that, like, okay, cool, like, this is what's happening, and there isn't really this is what the story's going to be leading to, right? And so obviously I'm assuming the final mission is going to take place at the black site, or we might do a couple of missions of the campaign at that black site to kind of rummage through or go around, find evidence and stuff like that. I mean, that's my prediction. I mean, obviously that's how the main campaign for season 1 went. Like, we basically didn't really we stopped at the office, right? But the thing is, like, we didn't even go to sewers, so I'm assuming sewers might be a high value like area, and so it would make sense for us to go to sewers, right? And so lore, like, because we haven't been into sewers in terms of campaign, right? So it would make sense for us to go there first, or we go to either a different area, but because they did say that we're going to be adding more like extensions to maps, or to newer maps, so to say. And so maybe they might add those extensions soon, maybe in this season, to kind of explain what that really means. But I guess we will see, since obviously the prison map has been the point of interest for the developers to show us about what's going on. That's my prediction. We're probably going to go to sewers, find evidence about the black site, head over to the black site near the end of the campaign, or the season, basically, and then survey the area, obviously find evidence, and then go back to like either Japan, or we go back to like Army Depot or R&D labs or something like that. So like point of interest that would make sense, and then afterwards it's like, okay, cool, like we got whatever we need, we got the codes, whatever, and like the evidence that is needed, finding out like who's at the black site, why is it being powered, and all that noise. So but I'm kind of thinking I could be wrong, honestly, and honestly I don't mind being wrong. It's okay to be wrong, but I mean, that's what I predict, because that's where primarily like a lot of the campaign events were kind of like, where it's like, you know, it's cool, but why do we keep doing like basically the same things over and over again? You know, finding like finding evidence, or finding like hints on what's going on and all that noise. But hopefully, and I say hopefully is in terms of like, okay. Oh, I just realized something. The medic, I just killed a crawler by sliding on him. The medics does not recharge after each wave. You know, if we're not really going to be focused on like bosses, because obviously we met like the first season was just basically introducing like the new Zeds, which was like Cream Crawler, Impaler, and the Chimera at the end of it, which makes sense because the Chimera was more or less a new type of enemy to be showing up. The final campaign for the first season makes sense, because obviously a lot of people probably had a question like, what the heck is that? Like, where did that even spawn from, and why, you know? I do want to say though, it's very interesting that we kind of, the whole campaign and all that, I felt it was kind of, I don't want to say it was rushed, but I mean, honestly, anything's better, because instead of just repeating the same type of objectives like they did in 2, where it's always the same thing, where we always escort something and then repair something, and then we defend an area for a certain amount of time, but we still gotta repair things while they infinitely spawn. Not bad, but I mean, I do feel like it would have been a bit, or slightly a bit better to really focus more on that, or at least add variety to it, because half the time it's just find this, and then next wave you find another thing, and then after that you're done. You know, it's at least like 2 or maybe 3 where it's like it's cool, but not really what you would expect, you know? Obviously, a lot of people did have, like, even me, I have some complaints about the objective mode in KF2, because it was the same exact thing every single time, but on different levels, and then that was it, you know? So, I mean, maybe other people liked it, but to me, it felt very repetitive in terms of, like, variety. And honestly, for a game like this, you kind of do have to have some sort of variety to the game, to where it actually does feel impactful, so to say. All in all, though, I do feel like it would be fairly interesting to see how they do this campaign this time around. Maybe something different. But I don't want to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, the campaign is going to be pretty good, but it's really more or less hard to say on how the campaign will go, you know? So it's just time will tell, right? We'll use this and then I'm trying to hit the husks to really... Okay, there we go. That is what I'm looking for. Is he in it? I think he's in the radius. Okay, I got too confident about what I was doing. I don't know. I mean, I think it would be cool if we did something different, but in terms of how the campaign will be handled, but if it's gonna be like a whole task where we're just picking up things and then calling it a day, not really caring about like completing the actual objective or completing the waves, I do feel like it's a pretty much a missed opportunity and makes the game a bit too easy and, you know, feel like an actual campaign, you know? Yeah, I don't like that shakiness that it's doing. Okay. I do want to say though, having that less ammo, kind of, I'm feeling it. Give me the immunity, please. What was that? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think running acid with the medic might be pretty good. I don't know, I'm like kind of testing a lot of things out. That's a siren. And she's gonna die. But yeah, I mean, we'll see how everything goes. I mean, I'm not very... I mean, campaign-wise, I just wish that I'm hoping that they add something new for us to really, you know, engage in, rather than giving us the same thing over and over again. But obviously, how else are they going to be doing something like that in terms of like giving us something different but new that isn't like a fetch quest, basically. Hopefully we get more information, but obviously I doubt that the whole campaign is going to be based off of, and call it I chose the wrong one. Totally. She's completely resistant to both of these. So, oh well. Well, I mean, we do have that 20%, 25% damage increase against Meyer. This will help us in terms of just flat out damage, and we'll go from there. Yeah, I broke my own rule on having something that would be beneficial, and here we are. We have a random... We have acid rounds, which the Queen Crawler is weak to, and then we have a force damage M14. Not my greatest moments, but we'll work with it, I guess. It's a 1%, since the receiver is maxed out. It is a 1%, and that 1% really makes the cut feel really slow. Yeah, I mean, I think cut damage might be a bit better for us to run with the medic, since it focuses more on cut, or focuses more on flesh as well. But since she is a Meyer type enemy and we do have that percent damage, not a big deal. But definitely the dot damage and all that is not appreciated as much, since she is resistant to acid and force damage, and I have both of them. Okay, why are you being a little sassy? And you going, alright, cool, whatever. There we go. Alright, well, I mean, that was a good, I mean, not really a good talk, but kind of just curiosity about how the campaign will go. But I mean, I'm more interested in how the campaign will be, because I would feel like it would be a bit better, but who knows if it's just going to be a repeated fetch quests. I feel like it's going to be more fetch quests rather than actual like lore building, because most of the time you're going to be fighting half the time, and so you'll be lost in the sauce because the dialogue's going to be drowned out by everything else. But yeah, I mean, that's about it.